Let's talk a little bit about Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is getting slammed all over the place after saying on Meet the Press yesterday that he's losing states to Hillary Clinton in part because poor people don't vote. Here's Chuck Todd interviewing Senator Sanders yesterday. I have a lot to say about this. Let's take a listen to the clip first.
Of the 25 states with the highest levels of income inequality have held primaries. 16 of those 17 states have been won by Hillary Clinton, not by you. Why?
Well, because poor people don't vote. I mean, that's just a fact. That's the sad reality of American society, and that's what we have to transform. We have, what, as you know, one of the lowest voter turnouts of any major country on earth. We have done a good job bringing young people in. I think we have had some success with lower income people. But in America today, in the last election in 2014, 80% of poor people did not vote.
You feel as if you could find a way to get people that are fighting at that poverty line, you know, either just below it or just above it, if they were getting engaged in the process, you would do better?
If we can significantly increase voter turnout so that low-income people and working people and young people participated in the political process, if we could have a voter turnout of 75%, this country would be radically transformed.
Bernie is getting hit really hard for this, and a lot of people have reacted as if he's trashing poor people. Some say that he's making racially tinged comments. One comment I saw online said, if Trump said poor people don't vote, it would be correctly called racist code language. Bernie shouldn't get a free pass because he's a liberal. Let's break this down piece by piece, Louis. This really requires some analysis. Is it true as a general rule that when voter turnout is higher, the more progressive candidate wins? Absolutely. And that's sort of what Bernie said at the end. If we could increase voter turnout, then that would help me. Is it sometimes racially coded when politicians talk about the poor? Yes. When politicians talk about the problem with gun violence is urban youth who are poor in cities, they're talking about black gang members typically, or Hispanic gang members. So there's no doubt that that's the case. But it wouldn't really make sense for Bernie to be using the racial codes since he's the one who's had the problem with the non-white vote in many states. So to accuse Bernie of being poor, of using poor to mean black people would be more inaccurate than it is offensive. So now let's ask the real question. Is there evidence that Bernie Sanders would be doing better if more poor people voted? The Washington Post is not sure. In the states where exit polls were conducted after primary votes were cast, Sanders still lost to Hillary Clinton among Democratic voters with household incomes below $50,000. Clinton won that demographic 55 to 44. I looked at the Ohio exit polls, Louis. Hillary won there with 56% overall. She had the biggest margin over Bernie with the voters earning under $30,000 a year. South Carolina, Hillary won with 73% of the vote. She had the biggest margin over Bernie with those earning under $30,000. I don't think it's offensive. I think Bernie's wrong.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say overall, if overall voter turnout were higher,
right,
then Bernie would do better. But to just say that it would be the low income vote that would make it.
The facts don't
convinced.
back it up. I mean, there's what do we know based on the facts, right? We know that when voter turnout is generally higher, whoever is more progressive votes wins. This is within within Democratic primaries, within Republican primaries, in general elections at every level between Democrats and Republicans. That is true. However, I don't believe that it is poor people that are holding Bernie Sanders back here, because that is often the group that is most voting for Hillary Clinton in these primaries. Anything offensive at all in what Bernie Sanders said?
No, this is not an issue. I know it was poor choice of words, but it's not a racial issue. Low-income voter turnout is just that. It's low-income voter turnout.
If I'm missing something on this, let me know on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at @Pakman. Louis is on Twitter at @LouisMotamedi. FreshBooks is offering David Pakman Show listeners a 30-day free trial of their service. I'm obviously the host of the David Pakman Show, but I also run the business that is the David Pakman Show, and I want to spend as much time as possible on the show and growing and improving my business. So FreshBooks lets you get paid more quickly. It helps with invoicing. It helps with so many of those business administration tools. And it's for freelancers and small businesses who want to get organized on those issues and really focus on growing the business. So to get your 30-day free trial of FreshBooks and support the David Pakman Show, go to gofreshbooks.com/TDPS. That's gofreshbooks.com/TDPS.